And those who are within government, it is transfer from one institution to the other.
And uphold fairness, transparency and equity throughout placement exercise, State Minister Higher Education Muyingo urges while opening 2026 Senior 1 placement exercise.
As we commence this exercise, the selection exercise, I wish to emphasize 3 key principles. 1, fairness. 2, transparency. And 3, equity.
And from overseas, Russia launches 219 drones, 25 missiles.
Brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977.
Now, starting off, the Minister of State for Higher Education, Honorable John Chrysostom Muyingo, reaffirmed the government's commitment to promoting inclusive education, particularly for vulnerable groups such as girls and children with disabilities. He made the remarks while officially opening the 2026 Senior 1 placement exercise at Uma Showgrounds in Kampala.
thousands of heads of schools, including those from 1,422 government-aided institutions, participated in this year's Senior 1 selection exercise at Uma Showgrounds in Kampala. The 2-day event serves a gateway for successful learners to join various secondary schools based on their primary leaving examination results, their submitted choices and available vacancies.
And then the rest of us will share here.
Speaking as the guest of honor, the Minister of State for Higher Education, Honorable John Chrysostom Muyingo, urged the heads of schools to uphold fairness, transparency and equity throughout the placement exercise. He also cautioned them against unfairly restricting learners' opportunities.
As we commence this exercise, the selection exercise, I wish to emphasize 3 key principles. 1, fairness. 2, transparency. And 3, equity. Every learner who sat for POE deserves an equal opportunity to access secondary education based on merit and established guidelines.
The minister echoed the government's continued commitment to ensuring inclusivity for vulnerable students in the education sector.
We remain committed to ensuring that vulnerable learners, particularly girls, learners with disabilities, and those with disadvantaged communities, we should make sure that they are not left behind. I want to urge schools to continue investing in inclusive practices and to make reasonable accommodations for learners with special needs. Since the introduction of UPE, almost 30 years ago, hundreds of thousands of our children from economically challenging homes have been able to enroll and complete primary education. Thanks be to God.
He furthermore advocated for technical and vocational training institutions as an alternative for students who couldn't make it to secondary.
Underway, we are providing and streamlining technical vocational education as another pathway that learners who complete primary subject can pursue. In this respect, government has established 40 community polytechnics across the country. In addition to about 100 privately owned community polytechnics that can also absorb learners from primary setting.
Dr. Kedris Triagenda, the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Education and Sports, on the other hand, urged school heads to adhere to the placement guidelines by granting learners 14 days before reporting back to school.
As you undertake this exercise, I appeal to you to strictly adhere to the placement guidelines, which were shared through the ASHU online platforms and are also included in the document packs you now received. In accordance with these guidelines, a grace period of at least 14 days from the official S1 reporting date must be granted to admitted learners to report to school.
We have a minister. If everybody was brought on board, both government and private. Because if private schools are busy planting wrong seeds, at the end of the cycle, the results will be the results of the them, and the results of good education, not the schools that are making those schools.
Head teachers commended the exercise and committed adhering to the guidelines by the Ministry of Education and Sports.
Here, our cut-off points for girls is 16 aggregates, and then also the cut-off points for the boys also is 17 aggregates. Compared to last year our cut-off point for girls was 20, and then for boys was 20, and then for girls was 22.
The process of placement of senior one students is moving on smoothly. Yeah, we've tried to see that we accommodate as many students as possible. As we are aware that percentage pass, for example, first grades went a little bit low. So schools, we have also been forced to see that we lower the cut-off for intake.
The 2026 Senior 1 selection exercise will conclude tomorrow, Friday 13th February 2026. John Baptista Humza, Church of Uganda, Family TV News at 8.
Now, the Uganda Bureau of Statistics has handed over 4,050 tablets and 6 computers to key religious, cultural and government institutions to strengthen data protection and evidence-based planning under the 4th Plan for National Statistical Development. The devices previously used during the 2024 National Population and Housing Census are now being redeployed to enhance administrative data systems nationwide.
This is not empty. This is the tablet. This is how they look like.
The beneficiaries include the Intelligence Council of Uganda, National Planning Authority, Economic Policy Research Center, Presidential CEO Forum, Bugis Kingdom, Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom, and Rwenzururu Kingdom. Speaking at the handover ceremony, UBOS Executive Director Dr. Chris Mukiza described the partnership as a significant step in strengthening collaboration between the Bureau, faith-based organizations, cultural institutions, and national planning bodies.
The tools we are donating or transferring to you, I think for those who are not in the government system, we are using a disposal method by donation. And those who are within the government, it is transfer from one institution to the other. And these are all well-known methods of disposal of assets from an entity.
Dr. Mukiza emphasized that the tablets and computers must strictly be used for statutory and administrative data purposes, not personal use, in order to improve data collection, analysis, dissemination, and policy decision making.
We empower you to deploy and use them principally for statistical purposes, not making calls, especially organizing your administrative data so that you produce data and you can manage what you know.
He revealed that this is the second batch of post-census distributions. The first batch was given to public universities, charity institutions, and local governments through the Ministry of ICT. Currently, each parish across Uganda has received 2 tablets to strengthen grassroots administrative data systems. Out of the 4,050 tablets and 6 computers distributed, the Intelligence Council of Uganda received 3,500 tablets and 3 computers by donation. Bugisu Kingdom received 250 tablets, Rwenzururu Kingdom received 150 tablets, National Planning Authority received 50 tablets by transfer, Economic Policy Research Center received 50 tablets by transfer, Presidential CEO Forum received 50 tablets by donation.
To Uganda Kingdom, Bunyoro Kitara, some to Rwenzururu, but I have gotten very few. We told them they have a very big population, they need more. We gave to all public universities, major ones, and so now we are still rolling out to you, especially our friends from Intelligence Council who have been with us throughout the statistical production. We haven't forgotten you, and what we promised we are going to deliver. And actually for Buganda Kingdom, the tablets we gave them have enabled them to produce a second edition of Manya Sazario.
Dr. Mukiza said that UBOS will continue offering technical support through its Directorate of Methodology and Statistical Coordination Services to help institutions develop 5-year strategic plans with clear goals, interventions, and measurable outputs.
Today, therefore, we are giving you tablets and computers to aid your efforts as follows. Number 1, Intelligence Council of Uganda. This group has very large following. It has the Roman Catholic, it has the Anglican, it has the born agains. I have to be careful because my friend the bishop has come. When I tell him that I'm not in his dominion but I'm born again, he says, no, I'm not born again. But we tell him that even the Anglicans are born again. So that's why we categorize them as Pentecostals, Evangelicals, Baptists, like that.
Dr. Joseph Serwada, the co-chair of the Intelligence Council of Uganda, welcomed the donation, describing it as timely and long overdue.
We formed the Interreligious Council Statistics Unit and Committee to collect data on all our member organizations. We did it before we thought that you needed it. So to us, this donation, whereas some people have said that it is timely, for us it is out of time. We should have received this equipment much earlier.
Dr. Kreti Wanduye Masiga, Deputy Prime Minister of Bugisu Kingdom, said that the kingdom with a population of 2.6 million, according to the latest census, plans to immediately deploy the tablets across its 250 sub-counties.
Right now we are embarking on developing projects that are aimed at developing our community. And we needed these gadgets to help us collect this data.
Dr. Rogers Mate, Director for Research, Development and Performance at National Planning Authority, alongside officials from the Presidential CEO Forum, said that the donation comes at a critical time as Uganda implements the 4th National Development Plan.
Because we understand that data management is important, and each of these institutions has got an administrative system.
This giving out of the tablets from UBOS, as you all know that UBOS is the lead in compiling data, especially for census, to support government in the planning and all the other economic developments. So as Presidential CEO Forum, we convene, bring together CEOs, both indigenous and international CEOs here in Uganda, to engage with government as well as the other stakeholders that matter in terms of economic development. And for us, this is a well thought out game changer because we've been conducting thematic research.
Now in sad news, the Uganda Christian University community has dedicated its community worship service to mourn and celebrate the life of Pamela Tumwebaze, the Dean of Students who was tragically killed by unknown assailants at her home in Gwafu Seta, Mukono District.
This is my story. This is my song.
Uganda Christian University today honored the life of Miss Pamela Tumwebaze during a special community worship gathering at the main campus in Mukono.
Praising my Savior all the day long.
Miss Tumwebaze was tragically killed in the early hours of Wednesday, 11th February 2026 at her home in Gwafu Seta, Mukono District. Students, alumni, members of the university administration, and friends gathered to celebrate her life and legacy. Many described her as hardworking, joyful, and deeply committed to mentoring and guiding students.
A big sister, a mentor, and most of all, a friend. That office that you see there is an office that one would look at as an office of esteemed power.
She dedicated her life to serve this university, to pray for this university.
We used to have sessions And we used to spend a lot of time together, and we talked about so many things, and were supposed to have our next.
Speakers during the worship service paid growing tribute to Ms. Tumwebaze, highlighting her love for students and her passion for nurturing younger people.
And she always introduced herself as coolest Dosa. Personally, I'm going to miss Pam very much.
Chancellor of Uganda Christian University, Professor Aaron Mushenjezi, expressed profound sorrow, questioning why anyone could kill someone who loved others genuinely.
It is only God who redeems us and washes our sins and saves us and redeems us. So I've really been thinking, why would anybody want to take Pamela's life? Because Pamela promoted peace with everybody.
He described her as a woman with a motherly heart who treated UCE students as her own children, saying that the university has lost not only a leader but a mother figure.
She had a very motherly heart, very strong motherly heart. And how Pamela loved her boys and UCU students. In fact, whenever we're in management meetings, Pamela would be the advocate of students.
Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of Finance and Administration, David Mugawe, noted that Ms. Tumwebaze was passionate about her work and a pillar of support to many younger people at the institution.
I'll talk about Pamela as a person who loved students and young people. And finally, a life that she lived, that she answered her call. Those are the 4 areas that I'll focus on, the many areas that you could talk about.
Her 2 sons, Elijah and Noah, remembered their foreign mother as loving, devoted to God, and committed to her family.
Praise the Lord. One thing I want to say about my mom is she really loved God.
Mourners offered prayers for the children she leaves behind, asking God to grant them strength and comfort during this difficult time.
Lord, we declare and decree that in the name of Jesus, Elijah and Noah will study and they will continue to enjoy a good education.
The university has organized an academic procession in her honor at the main campus in Mukono, scheduled for 9:30 a.m. A vigil is being held at the Emperor Hotel in Nadia, followed by a funeral service at Uganda Christian University in Kweyo Hall on Friday, 13th February, starting at 10 a.m.
Now, from undergraduate student to Director of Student Affairs, Pamela Tumwebaze's 21-year service at Uganda Christian University divided a legacy of mentorship and leadership, one now cut short by her tragic death. Let's take you through her life.
I also need to emphasize to you that we shall die. It's an undeniable fact, isn't it? And they were right. I mean, we are all going to die. All of us will die. One day, we just don't know when and how, but clearly, you know, we are all heading there. But you see, when we die, not if, we shall have the presence of standing before the King of Kings. And I hope that actually we shall have the privilege of standing before this King of Kings. I hope you will. I hope you choose to stand before that person when you have died.
Uganda Christian University is mourning the loss of Pamela Tumwebaze, the Director of Student Affairs and Dean of Students, whose life and career were deeply intertwined with the institution she served for more than 2 decades. Pamela Tumwebaze, born in 1980 in Mbarara District, Western Uganda, rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most influential student mentors at UCU. She began her education at St. Helens Primary School in Mbarara before proceeding to Cheizova Girls Secondary School in Bushenyi District. 2000, she joined Uganda Christian University as an undergraduate student, graduating in 2003 with a bachelor's degree. She later earned a Master's of Arts in Literature from the same institution and was recently pursuing a second master's degree in strategic communication.
And of course, coming with a background of UCU and as the DOSA, you know the DOSA.
Her professional journey at UCU has often been described as a symbiotic relationship. Over a span of 21 years, Tumwebaze served in multiple academic and administrative capacities. She worked as a teaching assistant and part-time lecturer before transitioning into administrative leadership roles, including executive assistant to the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and later Finance and Administration. In late 2023, she was appointed Director of Student Affairs, also serving as Dean of Students, a role in which she oversaw student welfare and mentorship across the university. She also headed the prestigious Honors College, a program designed to nurture the institution's top-performing students. Beyond UCU, she briefly served as a relations manager at Focus on Recovery Uganda, an organization dedicated to combating substance abuse. Colleagues and students frequently described Tumwebaze as a compassionate leader and mother figure who considered student mentorship not merely a job but a calling.
Dosa was my mentor. We used to have sessions, and we used to spend a lot of time together, and we talked about so many things, and we're supposed to have our next session.
I will personally miss Pamela.
Married to Alexander Masiko, whom she met during her university years, and together they had 2 sons, Elijah and Noah.
One thing I want to say about my mom is she really loved God. Even though
her life was tragically cut short on the night of February 11, 2026, when she was attacked at her home in Gwafu village, Seta Mukono district. According to police reports, she was strangled inside her bedroom after returning home with her children. She passed away in the early hours of February 11, 2026, at the age of 46. Her death has sent shockwaves through the university community, with students, staff, and alumni paying tribute to a woman whose legacy is defined by service, mentorship, and unwavering dedication to young people. As investigations into her death continue, UCU and the wider education fraternity remember Pamela Tumwebaze as an administrator, mentor, and mother whose impact will endure for generations. May her soul rest in peace.
Now, I want to see, when I have died, I think I look forward to seeing how the sun can be rendered unnecessary, because the presence of God goes on and is beautiful enough to produce enough light. You understand that? I long for some of these things. I want to live on this new earth where things are new and they are different, and there is no war, there are no floods, no conflicts. Beautiful.
Archbishop's Moment. Sponsored by Uganda Christian University, a center of excellence in the heart of Africa. Join the UCU experience now.
St. John's Wakiso Secondary School, where faith meets education.
But a tongue, small as it is, it can lit the entire village on fire. Just a tongue, gossiping. And now these days, the tongue has reproduced itself in social media. It is killing. People are dying. It is killing people slowly but sure. The tongue, I think James is not here, but if he was here, he would have written about the social media. How? And these days, something can be put on social media and 1,000 people within no time they have responded, even on something they don't know. Even on something they don't understand. I am always in the window peeping and say, how I wish they knew. I don't want to jump on social media, on the platform and write, resist that. When we're talking about resisting the patterns of this world, social media is one of them. That should be resisted. Others are, you jump in me, you comment this, you comment this, you comment this, you are attacking this one, you're attacking this one. The tongue in chapter 3, which is like a fire. And now in chapter 4, James said, if you make yourself a friend of the world, you become an enemy of God.
Archbishop's Moment. Sponsored by Uganda Christian University, a center of excellence in the heart of Africa. Join the UCU experience now. And
St. John's Wakiso Secondary School, where faith meets education.
Now we'll go for a short break, but when we come back, we have more in store for you with the news. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. I am Amal Kansime, and this is the news at 8. Welcome back from the break. This is Chacha Vigana Family TV. If you're just joining us, and this is the news at 8, and my name is Malcolm Sime. Now, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has called for accelerated formalization of jobs and businesses as Uganda transitions into 4th National Development Plan. The call was made during a joint engagement between government and private sector leaders who reviewed progress achieved under NDP 3 and outlined key priorities aimed at sustaining economic growth and improving household incomes.
The private sector development program under the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has emphasized the need to strengthen the formalization of jobs and businesses under the 4th National Development Plan as part of efforts to achieve long-term sustainable development goals. The call was made during the presentation of the 2024-2025 Annual Performance Review Report of the Private Sector Development Program.
The theme of this annual review is selected to guide us as we move ahead. Let us build on lessons from the NDP 3 to strengthen formalization under NDP 4. I implore you in this review meeting to reflect on the program experiences and lessons under NDP 3 and to carefully consider the adjustments needed to improve our effectiveness and ensuring that the PSD program performance is better under the NDP 4.
Despite the achievements registered under NDP 3, including increased household incomes and improved quality of life for Ugandans, private sector continue to face challenges, particularly due to the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Placing out a number of interventions for people to fit in. This was one, capitalization through capital markets was one of the interventions that domestic market capitalization grew. And we note that the improvement was mainly through the footprint of equity markets in this economy.
Despite the challenges faced, the PSD was able to navigate the situation through a number of interventions, including participation in equity markets. However, the need to strengthen formalization of NDP 4 was emphasized.
We are taking measures to address the impacts of these factors, but the effects still linger on. We have now closed the NDP 3 and have embarked on the implementation of the NDP 4. Formalization remains a thorny issue, even as we turn this page in our development program.
Sarah Kajingo, the Vice Chairperson of the Private Sector Foundation Uganda, highlighted the importance of investment and expressed appreciation to both the private sector and the government for their support.
Credit to government support and the private sector who invested bravely, created jobs relentlessly. Thank you so much for your innovation and courage of all of you Ugandan companies in this room and all of you watching us for refusing to be limited by borders or high interest rates.
The Minister of State for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Honorable Henry Musasizi, outlined some of the economy's achievements across the different sectors. He urged all stakeholders to plan ahead, budget appropriately, and effectively implement various programs to promote a stronger economy.
Our economy has rebounded strongly and is now recognized internationally as one of the fastest growing in the world, with projections placing Uganda among the very top by 2031. I am therefore interesting all the key stakeholders, especially the NDP 4 program leaders, to be cognizant of the interventions in the PSEs and ensure that you plan, budget, implement, and report on them all through the NDP 4 period.
Honorable Henry Musasizi proceeded to launch the Private Sector Development Program Implementation Action Plan.
We'll do so by way of signing Please do clap for that.
Now, moving on, animal welfare advocates are calling on the Ministry of Agriculture to urgently intervene in the transportation and handling of animals across Uganda, citing cases of cruelty and neglect. Concerns are mounting over factory farming practices, overcrowded livestock transportation, and what campaigners describe as weak enforcement of the Animal Prevention of Cruelty Act of 1957. Advocates argue that failure to enforce animal protection laws not only affects animal welfare, but also public health and food safety. We have the report.
Across Uganda, thousands of animals are transported daily to markets and slaughterhouses, often under harsh and overcrowded conditions. Animal rights activists say many livestock trucks exceed capacity limits, leaving animals injured, stressed, and in some cases dead before reaching their destination.
Uganda is the second largest market in East Africa.
Vegan Society Uganda Executive Director Innocent Nabasa is among those leading the call for reforms, pushing for a ban on the battery cages for hens, improved livestock transport standards.
On top of the cows, there are sheep and goats, and then the people that are transporting them are on top. They're passing by law enforcement officers, traffic officers, and the Ministry of Agriculture knows this. The Minister for Agriculture knows this, but it's absurd that no one cares about the well-being of animals. People think pigs are dirty. Pigs are not dirty, but we're just keeping them in filthy pigsties. Take care of that pig. That's its way of life. It loves to roll, but it can also roll in grass. It can also roll in a clean environment. Let's take care of these pigs. When people are transporting these pigs, to the slaughterhouses or wherever, to their gardens, wherever they slaughter from, they tie them on borders, and they're always screaming for help. I know most of us look at that scene and we don't like it. You want to look away, but if you look away, who cares about the lives of these pigs?
She urges that failure to enforce animal protection laws not only affects animals' welfare, but also the public health and food safety.
We have an Prevention of Cruelty of Animals Act in this country, but honestly, it's not being enforced. Why do I say that? If you've moved around the city, Kampala city, you've found cows the way they're being transported. No one cares about the transportation of animals. We've called upon the Ministry of Agriculture several times, but we've not seen them act upon this. These cows are traveling probably from Karamoja, from Rukunji, from Barara, on these trucks and lorries. They are tied by their tails, their hooves, their mouths, no water, no feed, no nothing.
On the side of schools, Innocent noted that there is a need for introducing more vegetable-based meals in schools, revealing that it is not just about animals' welfare, it is about improving children's health, boosting immunity, and creating a more sustainable food system for the next generation.
I must say I'm really disappointed in many schools, especially the so-called modern schools and the international schools. You are feeding our children with what we call sweet poison. Why is a child taking a donut at breakfast? Why is a child taking a sumbusa at break? At lunch, they're taking pizza and burgers and sausages. Very unhealthy. You go to a school canteen, you cannot even find a fruit, you cannot even find a healthy snack, but you're going to find all these, packaged, sweetened biscuits. These are the things you find in a school canteen. Children are being obese because of poor feeding. A child feeds what you give them. We usually do this campaign called the Vegan School Lunch Campaign, where we work with schools, they send us their cooks, and by the way, we do this for free. We train them how to make tasty food, because children love tasty food. If the children have been eating posho and beans, how do you make these beans tastier? One, you can make them tastier, or they can have an avocado, or you can add some coconut, to those beans. You can feed them pumpkin soup, vegetable soup, These vegetables are healthy. People, when you talk of vegetables, they think of greens. No, vegetables are not just greens, because there's a yellow bell pepper, there's a red one, there's a green one, there is a carrot, there's booger, like all these colorful plates can be made.
Activists are demanding the full, rigorous implementation of the Animal Prevention of Cruelty Act, citing widespread neglect, abuse with weak enforcement that allows perpetrators to escape with minimal penalties.
Now in sad news, 4.5-year-old Mabel Chisache is battling severe burns after a neighbor's child allegedly threw a burning object at her while the neighbor was burning rubbish. The girl is currently admitted at Kayunga General Hospital and her family is appealing for support to cover her medical treatment.
According to Munguyake Consulate, the child's mother and resident of Machindye Luwafu, who makes a living selling mangoes, the neighbor did not accept to help or seek medical attention for Chisache. She says that if a good Samaritan had not heard her daughter's cries and come to her rescue, the outcome could have been far worse.
Omwana wange ye Mabel Chisache. Omwana wange yajja ku Mande, nali mu tawuni ne bankubira essimu ne baŋŋamba komawe wako omwana waayidde. Era omukyala eyaliwo neiba wange ne mubuuza omwana ayidde bati, n'aŋŋamba nti omwana ayidde n'essigiri. Natuukira mu ddwaliro ne baŋŋamba omwana ayijjiridde mu kasasiro. Neiba eyakuuma kasasiro ye Nabukenya Tauba eyayokya baby wa myaka 4 bamita Rahman.
Chisache was initially taken to a nearby clinic for first aid, then referred to Mulago Hospital and is now admitted at Kayunga General Hospital. Her family, however, still faces significant medical expenses to cover her treatment.
Omwana wange yajja nga bamulaba neiba yali mu nnyumba yawulira najjawo omwana n'amutwala mu ddwaliro.
Distressed by a child's condition, Munguyeke reported the incident to police and the neighbor was subsequently charged with attempted murder.
Nendaba nga kinsuseeko ne ngenda paka ku poliisi y'e Makindi ne bampa reference ng'egamba nti balina okujjanjaba omwana wange.
However, the child's uncle Opio Ivan says the case was mishandled at Machinde police station and questions whether any interference may have weakened it.
Amanya yenze Opio Ivan nga ndi muganda wa consulate. Ife ngaffe twali twagala obwenkanya nga bano abantu abayokya omwana twabatwala ku poliisi baali bakkiriza nti bagenda ojjanjaba omwana.
Opio Ivan is appealing to the authorities to ensure justice is served, especially as the family is struggling to afford the child's medical care.
Ife kye twandiyagadde bw'obanga tebasobola kujjanjaba mwana bakubibwe mu mbuga z'amateeka bavunaanizibwe kubanga ekyo kikolwa kya child abuse. Kubanga omwana wo tasobola kwokya mwana wa neighbor nga wooli otudde n'otunula bw'oti. Omuntu ow'emabbali ye yavaayo n'ataasa nga gwe wooli otudde olaba omwana omuliro gumubumbukako guli ku kiteeteeyi nga wooli otuddeawo bombi babiri baali weebali. Omuntu ow'emabbali eyawulira omulango omwana gwe yali akuba n'adduka n'ajja n'ataasa omwana.
Due to several pain the child is experiencing, including being unable to sleep comfortably, Munguyeke is appealing to anyone who can help to support her in saving her daughter for the suffering she is going through.
Tusaba ku buyambi yenna ali eyasobola okujjanjaba omwana we kubanga alina ogenda mu sikaani naye tewali ssente zimala. Ssente zituweddeko tetulina yasobola otuyamba. Yenna asobola otuyamba anyamba asobole okujjanjaba omwana wange.
As of now, it has been 2 weeks since the child sustained injuries and she has remained admitted at Kayunga General Hospital, where doctors are doing their best to treat her.
Now, welcome back from the break. This is Church of Uganda Family TV, and this is the news at 8. My name is Amal Kansime. Russia launched an overnight drone and missile strikes across Ukraine, hitting critical energy infrastructure. The renewed attacks raised doubts over possible diplomatic talks as territorial disputes, including Donbass and Zaporizhia, remain unresolved.
Fighting between Russia and Ukraine continues to rage on. Ukrainian officials now say that Kiev is under a massive attack from Russian missiles, with various buildings being hit in the assault. The latest strikes have cut heating to nearly 2,600 residential buildings in Kiev and killed 2 people in eastern Ukraine. Kiev Mayor Vitaly Klitschko says that residential as well as non-residential buildings have been hit on both sides of the Dnipro River, bisecting the city. These are the visuals from the city of Dnipro. 4 people, including 2 children, sustained injuries in an overnight Russian attack. Ukrainian emergency crews extinguished several fires as homes and infrastructure can be seen reduced to ashes. According to Ukraine's Air Force, Russia launched 24 ballistic missiles, 1 cruise missile and 219 drones in overnight attacks. In Odessa, Ukrainian emergency crews extinguished fires and cleared debris after Russian drone strikes damaged a 9-story residential building and energy infrastructure in the southern city. Air raid alerts remained in effect in both Kiev and Dnipro well after midnight. Ukraine says that its air defense units shot down 16 missiles and 197 drones, adding that the cities of Kiev, Kharkiv, Dnipro and Odessa were the main targets of the strike. Russia has reported that its armed forces have struck 141 Ukrainian military targets, including several energy facilities, while Ukraine claimed attacking a Russian refinery and other military targets over the past 24 hours. Millions of people in Kiev and other cities have struggled with electricity or heating outages, as unusually bitter cold has gripped the country for weeks. On the diplomatic front, meanwhile, Kremlin maintains that any direct meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky must take place in Moscow, as per their spokesperson Dmitry Peskov. Commenting on Zelensky's recent refusal to travel to Moscow, Peskov said that there is no novelty in the stance. Earlier, remember, President Zelensky had said that Ukraine will only hold elections once it has security guarantees in place and a ceasefire with Russia. Elections in Ukraine have been effectively suspended since Russia attacked in 2022.
Well, that is the news for today. My name is Amal Kansime. But before I let you go, let's take a look at the headlines.
Headlines brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977.
In our top stories, the partnership is a significant step in strengthening collaboration between the Bureau, faith-based organizations, cultural institutions and national planning bodies. UBOS Executive Director Chris stresses as UBOS hands over 4,050 tablets to religious and cultural institutions.
Tools we are donating or transferring to you, I think for those who are not in the government system, we are using a disposal method by donation. And those who are within the government, it is transfer from one institution to the other.
And uphold fairness, transparency and equity throughout placement exercise. State Minister Higher Education Muyingo urges while opening 2026 Senior 1 placement exercise.
As we commence this exercise, the selection exercise, I wish to emphasize 3 key principles. 1, fairness. 2, transparency. And 3, equity.
And from overseas, Russia launches 219 drones, 25 missiles.
Brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977.
Well, that has been the news for today, but please stay tuned. We have Family Hour coming up. This has been the news at 8, and I am Amal Kansime.